What's up everyone? Alex here. A lot of you guys discovered my channel thanks to the Tales of Arise videos that I posted over the past few weeks, and I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel. But you're probably wondering what games I'm actually going to be covering moving forward. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 6 games that I'm looking forward to in 2021. Once again, I want to stress that this video only covers the games in 2021. So anybody who's wondering about Monarch or Final Fantasy 16, that's obviously beyond this year. That being said, there's a lot of really exciting games still coming out for fans of JRPGs and Japanese games. So I'm just gonna get right into it. This game is coming out literally over the next week or so. That's Lost Judgment. Lost Judgment is the sequel to the award-winning Judgment that was released 2 years ago. Can you believe it? It's been 2 years already. We're going to be playing as Takayuki Yagami, who is basically part lawyer, part detective. Quite honestly, I don't really know much of the plot apart from that there is a courtroom hearing about this guy who killed another guy, which, it seems very typical of RGG Studios games these days. But we can expect a very dramatic storytelling experience for the main story, and a lot of the kookiness that we've come to expect in RGG Studios minigames and side quests, which personally I love engaging in those. If you pre-ordered the Digital Deluxe Edition, you're gonna get early access to the game, and you'll be able to play it on September 21st. Lost Judgment comes out on September 24th, 2021 on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One. Sorry guys, no PC version for this one. This next game, I'm not sure many of you actually know this, but there are 2 names attached to this game that you might know of. Hitoshi Sakimoto, who is a composer known for Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy Tactics, and Kazushige Nojima, who is the scenario writer for Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy VII Remake. This game is Astria Ascending, which is a turn-based RPG that really caught me by surprise. It has this beautiful hand-drawn aesthetic that's really captivating and very pleasing to look at. It kind of reminds me of Vanillaware games in the way that they're animated as well, and it's in that sense that it's no surprise that Hitoshi Sakimoto was actually hired to be a music composer, given that him and Bass Escape, which is a musical group that he is a part of, collaborate with Vanillaware in many of their games, if not all. Nojima being there means that there's gonna be some crazy writing with the story, and I can't wait to see where he takes us. Astria Ascending is coming out on September 30th, 2021 on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Windows, and Xbox One. It's also coming out on Game Pass, by the way. Caligula Effect 2 is the sequel to Caligula Effect, which came out many years ago. The original Caligula Effect came out on the PS Vita, and it didn't run well. So they actually re-released the game as Caligula Effect Overdose, and they didn't just port it over, they actually upgraded the engine, and they made it look a lot better. And thank goodness they did that, because the battle gameplay is one of the most unique battle systems I've ever played. How this actually works is that there's actually a timeline on the bottom of the screen, and you can set different characters to move or attack depending on where you want to position them in 3D space. And then, once everybody, including the enemies, have inputted their moves, the timeline starts to play, and the sequence of actions for every character, including the enemies, all play back in real time. And then the next turn starts, where you get to do this all over again. What's unique about the system is that you can actually set up combos. For example, you can have one party member actually juggle an enemy in the air and have another character wait a little bit and then shoot the enemy while they're in mid-juggle. So if you think of the battle system in Tales of Arise, but done in a turn-based manner, it's somewhat similar to that. If this interests you, I will warn you that the first game had procedurally generated dungeons, and those dungeons were also blended with towns, so there's people there, even though it's also the dungeon. It's a bit jarring from a presentation standpoint. There's also been an anime released based on this, so there's also that piece of it if you wanted to experience the first story. But I'm looking forward to Caligula Effect 2 with the hopes that they've improved a lot of the aspects that we had complaints on in the first game. By the way, I have a review of Caligula Effect Overdose, and here's the link to it. Caligula Effect 2 is coming out on October 19, 2021 on a Nintendo Switch and PS4. I love horror games, but I'm not into horror games that much. But when you give me a Japanese horror game, I'm in it. Fatal Frame is one of my favorite survival horror series of all time. I finished Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3. I still have my copies on the PlayStation 2. And when I heard that Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater was finally arriving in the US, I immediately watched the trailer. I would even rank Fatal Frame high up there, right beside Silent Hill and Resident Evil as the top survival horror games for me. What's really cool about the Fatal Frame series is the fact that you only have a camera to defend yourself. So it's almost like taking first-person shooter gameplay and making you feel even more useless because of the nature of your weapon. There's also haunted spots where you can take pictures and you'll see like these really ghastly images, which are really scary in their own right. They don't attack you, it's just really scary. It's Asian horror to the T, and I love Fatal Frame for it, and I can't wait to play this game. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater is coming out on October 28, 2021 on the Nintendo Switch, Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. For this next game, I never actually played the original game, but I've heard very mixed reactions from people. In fact, I recently released a video on the game, and a lot of you really shared your opinions on it, and those opinions tracked with what other people had told me. The game is called Blue Reflection Second Light. Honestly, I looked at the gameplay, I couldn't understand what's going on in the battle system. I do know that it is real time, it very much borrows a lot of gameplay elements from Atelier Ryza's combat, from my understanding, with the twist that you can turn into a magical girl, which to me is like really funny and kind of interesting in some ways. It is set in high school, at the very least in a parallel world, and a lot of you have shown your reluctance towards that kind of subject matter. But I'm here for the gameplay, and I hope that Blue Reflection Second Light does better in terms of that aspect, given that a lot of people have said that the gameplay in the first game was underwhelming, to say the least. Blue Reflection Second Light is coming out on November 9th, 2021 on Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Windows. The last game on this list should be pretty obvious, and it is quite possibly one of my most anticipated games of 2021, and that is Shin Megami Tensei 5. I've watched a lot of the trailers, I've gotten really familiar with the Nahobino. They're even featuring the first ever Filipino demon in the game, and I'm really excited for that, given that I am Filipino. Aside from that, it's really exciting to just get back into a mainline Shin Megami Tensei game, and I hope that fans of Persona or other JRPGs will give it a shot, because it is looking to be one of the creme de la creme JRPGs of this year. And I'm not just talking about the notoriety of the series as well. A lot of people know that Shin Megami Tensei is traditionally pretty challenging, but I'm really just excited to see what the next generation of Shin Megami Tensei is all about. And I know that Atlus has been extremely secretive about the story and what's really going on in the world, really painting this abstract picture of what's really going on, and we're gonna find out the truth in due time. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming out on November 11th, 2021, only on the Nintendo Switch. And these are the 6 games that I'm looking forward to in 2021. But now, I want to hear what you are looking forward to. Are there any Japanese games or JRPGs that are not on this list that you would recommend that I check out? Post your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about this. I am a huge fan of Japanese games and JRPGs, and I just can't believe how 2021 has delivered in that department. And I can't wait to talk to you all about all these games. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.